Hi guys! Jake and MJ back again for more live reactions to Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Oh boy, there we go. Alright, hopefully we have everything running smoothly this week.
I hope so.
We're getting the hang of this. What you do?
Oh, I can't man the chat any other way.
Alright, there you go. Now keep in mind, you can't man it through there quite yet.
Okay.
You'll need to you'll
I'll
need to go through the browser.
Got it.
So we're still mastering the whole process of, having everything set up this way for the live reactions, although we did, I think, sort things out pretty well with our live stream over the course of our massive 3-day, I think 42-hour Mighty Morphin Power Rangers live stream across the course of the weekend.
That was long.
So I spent 42 hours watching 95 episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, plus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. So that was quite the weekend, and we raised a total of over $1,400, so $1,400. It was massive. So thank you to everyone who was involved with that. We donated a lot of money to spreadthevote.org. If you want to continue to contribute to spreadthevote.org.
Starman is still up.
The Starman will still do his little star dance, so you can still use that donate link below. That's up to you. However you want to handle it, it's up to you. Now, I'm going to grab my comfy pillow.
Yes.
I was about to lean back, and I'm just like, oh, it's too far back.
Oh, and happy birthday to Spencer Harris.
Happy birthday, Spencer. And thank you to everyone who's here tonight. We've got quite a few viewers.
Quite a few people.
So, very pleased for everyone who helped out. And we hope that you are continuing to find ways to work together to save the world. I know it's been a couple weeks since it's been 2 weeks since our last live reactions. That was, Beast Morphers live reactions. And in the intervening time, I did post that Why I'm Scared video. So if you haven't checked that out already, feel free to check it out. It really addresses a lot of what I consider to be the big issues at stake moving forward.
Yes.
And why I think we all need to work together to functionally save the world. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And feel free to let us know with comments below what you're doing to help make the world a little bit of a better place. What are some things you're excited about in the coming weeks, and how you're contributing. I know, obviously, we did the live stream. I also have been attempting to actively phone bank at least a few hours.
You've been phone banking so much.
I've been trying. I try to get in at least a couple hours each day, and I try to raise awareness of where deadlines are coming up on registering to vote, early voting, and seeing if anyone else wants to join me on phone banking. So, honestly, I was doing some phone banking for a swing state today, and there were only a handful of people in the Zoom call for the phone bank. So, there's not actually that many people who are actively phone banking in any particular state at any particular time. There's a lot of states to address. So, if you want to help out, that's a nice way that, if you already have donated all you can, and you feel comfortable on the phone, that's a great way that you can contribute and make sure that people have the information that they need to vote.
Yes.
But I also know that you guys are here to watch other people save the world, to watch some Power Rangers.
Yes.
And we are up to now the penultimate episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So this is one that I have been hearing a lot of people hyping up, saying this is one that they really have been don't get spoiled on this one. You don't want to get spoiled on this one. We want to see how you react to this one.
Ooh.
And I feel like a lot of people are trying to keep their lips sealed in this one. I'm just checking out what you're working on, and
trying to reset the leaderboard.
And also, I was trying to figure out where I just put this down. There it goes. Because
they changed the interface, and I can't find it.
What, they've changed the interface in the last week?
No, but we haven't had to reset the leaderboard since I changed the interface.
Oh, okay.
Since they changed the interface.
Okay. All right. So, are we good to go?
No, I'm still working on this.
Okay.
Let's watch the show.
Okay, we are good to go on that. That's what I meant by good to go.
Don't rush me.
I'm not trying to rush you. I'm asking if you're ready to watch the episode is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. So before we do that, though, we always need to do our 3 key non-controversial phrases to open things up. We got another 3 at the end of things, but these are all phrases that we should all consider equally non-controversial to say. So, phrase number 1. Say it with me, chat. Black lives matter. Phrase number 2. Say it with me, chat. Fascism is bad. And number 3. Say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. And we're going to check out some superheroes right now. We're going to check out Power Rangers Beast Morphers episode 43. The penultimate episode, Source Code. Ready. And... Ooh, almost got it up. Here we go, and play. Nice. Ooh, I like the dramatic music.
Blaze's plan worked. Evox was in prison. But then we realized...
Oh. Yeah, it wasn't Blaze. Robo Blaze.
Got played. If all of this was his plan...
Dun dun.
Evox must have wanted to be captured.
But why? Good. This is a nice cliffhanger situation.
What's the blue stuff?
Evox is essentially
Just
a computer
data,
virus.
I imagine.
I programmed the Ultra Blaster to fire a data packet at Evox. It will scramble his coding,
Okay.
byte by byte, until he disintegrates.
Nice.
He can't fail. I hope you're right.
Can't fail?
Let's go find out.
Everything can fail.
There's no such can't fail. We are currently in a situation where we can't make assumptions of that.
We really can't make assumptions of that.
Okay.
Lower the shields.
How's this gonna go? What's this gonna do? How's this gonna function here? Go! What's happening?
Re-energizing.
Is he's just standing there to take it? What is happening?
You can just shoot through that thing?
It's working.
Okay.
Rangers.
Oh, he's unleashing a little wire thing.
Aha.
He's escaping into the computer. Oh, there he goes. He managed to reactivate the shield.
Activate the wall? No! It wasn't me.
He got into the computer again.
And it won't go back on again. It's Evox. Somehow he's controlling the computer.
Oy vey.
Step by step, my plans have brought us to this moment.
Okay.
You've reached the final chapter of your story.
Oh. Whoa. Yep. That little wire that he unleashed.
He's using the computer to access the Morphers towers.
Yeah, he is.
Destroy the computer.
Go. Too late.
He's still in the system. He wants to get in the morphing grid.
It's in full-on data
There are
mode.
few computers that have direct access to the tower network.
We'll unplug him!
Before he can get in.
Yeah. Go, go, go.
Why is that ish not
Woo.
air gapped?
Yeah, I know. They should have been in an air-gapped room. You're absolutely correct. I mean, he is kind of a magic computer virus, so I don't know how well that would have actually worked, but...
Air gap means no network connection.
I know, but like I said, he's a magical computer virus, basically.
Fair enough.
Like, he seems to actually be able to teleport through the air from one computer to another, and I'm not convinced it's fully by Wi-Fi connection.
Is he leaving a trail? He's heading towards the research room. Look out!
Move, 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 move!
Seriously.
Open up the doors. Go. Go, go, go. Research room. What's in here? Ooh! This is the room that, This is the room that Devin was reading up on Dr. K in.
Yes.
Hard to say. Go ahead.
Someone just accessed the vault.
He's in the vault
Oh,
now.
for crap's sake.
Hi, huh.
Is that count?
Yeah, that counts. He's in
My
bad
mom always
shape.
said that wasn't
The
a-
cell shift morphers. What is he doing with those cell shift morphers?
What do you think he's doing with a cell shift morpher?
Yeah, he's restoring himself. Shoot him! Why aren't you shooting him?
Forget restoring himself. What's in a cell shift morpher right now?
Morphing grid energy.
Aside from that, as people have pointed out multiple times in
Yep.
previous
Let's-
episodes,
There we go.
Figured it out. You should know who I truly am.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna talk it through.
Years ago, you experimented with old Ranger technology, hoping to find a new way to morph.
Yes, but
Ah.
about that.
Because I was there.
Nice.
I was
Nice.
just a foolish little boy trying to power
The vault matters.
morphers with Morphex and snake DNA. All of your efforts failed until you tried the cell shift morph.
Oh man. It's that cell shift morpher. It really
that's
is.
what I was implying.
Oh yeah, I know.
I
I
realized that he is that. I thought maybe he was releasing that.
I was released into your system.
that long ago?
Dead end for you. A new beginning for me.
Interesting.
You're starting to put it together. A cell shift morph that could mean only one thing.
I was vengeance.
He's got the voice.
Forms, and now my victory is certain.
So he's the computer virus that almost destroyed an entire world?
That
Yes.
can't be true. Wait.
Bro, it is true. I've waited years for you to energize the Morphex towers, so I could harness the morphing grid, and today that becomes reality.
He's been masking his voice the whole time. The Ranger Vault was always relevant to the origin of Venjix. Nice.
Well,
Or the origin of Evox. Sorry. Evox being...
Evox, Vengex.
Yeah. Bow, wow, go Power Rangers. Bow, loo, loo, loo. Go, boo doo boo. Go,
Go.
boo loo loo loo. It's
morphin'
morphin' time. For justice we fight. With beast morphin' might. Together we rise. Bow, wow, 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 wow. Go Power Rangers. Go Power Rangers. Power Rangers Beast Morphers. So how's the chat doing?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how to clear the leaderboard.
I can't believe they got Andrew Lang back. I thought that they...
Which I've done once before, but then they changed the...
Is it true, Nate? What he said? Did
Yeah.
you create E-Box more virus than that old morpher?
It was years ago. I was just a kid.
It's interesting.
It's possible.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. You looked even younger than Kay was when she messed up.
yeah.
I might have released Vengeance into our world.
Interesting.
Right now.
Come on.
So he was trapped. So, what
oh,
was he...
right. It's been right here on the general thing the whole time.
Okay.
Okay. So what's he up to now? Oh, hey Ben and Betty.
Step aside or pay the price.
Please don't hurt Betty.
The voice change is a little weird.
Think again.
The fact that he just completely swapped over to the Venjix voice now. Oh, come on, no buffering. No buffering.
Buffer bad. No buffer. Alright, we got the chat back.
Okay.
Are we dropping a Morphex tower
Yeah.
on him?
We'll be back.
Now let's see what happens here.
We're tracking Avox. We can cut him off on sub-level 1. We're on our way.
Now,
No. That's why I said he was even younger than she was when she screwed up.
Randall Ewing is Andrew Lang with an extra L. Was it? So wait, was it always?
Based on the cake, she was like 14, 15 when she first released Vengex, because she was like 17 during the series, and we know that was at least a year, possibly 2 years later.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, he's resurrected.
Power of the Vengeance virus. Knock
Because remember, the narration is by a year later he had
Oh, it's
overtaken everything.
okay.
Yada,
I'm gonna drag it back a little bit because it is getting into a bit of a buffering mode, just a little bit.
But she was probably about 15 when she started.
There we go. I just jumped it back to 8
creating
minutes.
Vengeance, and about 16 when she released it, and then 17 is where the show picked up. Because I've done
Yeah.
way too much math regarding
Yeah.
Kay's age.
This is fascinating.
And the fact that she's younger than everybody means that she has to have been about 17.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll
Well, I've been working under the assumption that she was approximately 4 in 1998 for my purposes.
She was about 4 when she was abducted.
And I had her abduction be in November of 1998.
Because she had 5 candles on her cake at her birthday, at the first birthday party they showed. Which means she was 4 when they took her.
Yeah. So this is all very interesting right now.
Wait, it's been the same actor too?
That's what I was talking about. While you were. That's what I was talking with the chat about just now.
He's right. Now tell me, boy genius, how does it feel?
Far too much buffering going on.
For the destruction of human civilization.
You really like. He really loves to rub that into his
Yeah.
child genius
Yeah. Exactly.
co-conspirators.
I got you, bro.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do for just a moment because we are experiencing a little bit of a buffering issue. I'm going to pause it for a moment. I'm going to bring it back to the 9-minute mark.
Exactly 9-minute mark.
And I'm gonna chat with the chat for a moment here to see how you guys are doing. But yeah, that's fascinating. He really did mask his voice very well.
I mean, I assume they also used a different resonance filter on.
Probably a slightly different filter. But like now that I'm thinking about it, and you know that little transition there, it was something that a voice actor, a quality voice actor, can do that sort of shift, where he's going from talking like this to talking like this, and it's.
I mean, yeah, we've seen that, for example, with our friend from the chat, from the stream last weekend.
Yeah, with Campbell Cooley.
Has so many different voices.
Exactly. So that is very interesting. I always thought, I think that people had been pointing that out early on, and I was never 100% sure.
Yeah, the snake hiss did, as Shadow Ray pointed out.
Yeah, it really did a good job masking the voice.
Randall Ewing is literally an anagram
for Andrew Lang, but with an extra L. That's what I was talking about when I was chatting with the chat here.
Dude, they could have just lopped an L off the end of Randall and made it an actual anagram.
Yeah, probably.
Oh well.
It's not a big deal. Alright, so we're now seeing footage from episode 29 or 30 of Go Busters, and that's pretty great because there was a lot of stuff they hadn't used from that yet. Specifically using the Venjix body, the Evox body. I'm going to be swapping back and forth now that we've established this.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit
alright.
trippy.
So I think I've got a little bit of buffer now.
So for those of you who were watching along, we paused at exactly the 9-minute mark.
Yep.
Well, we paused later.
Yeah, if you're watching the recorded version.
To the 9-minute mark.
Here we go. Technically it's at 8:56. So I'm going to play in 3, 2, 1. There we go, because I want this to be as smooth as possible.
We can't fight him. His programming absorbed my saber.
He's right.
Oh.
Now tell me, boy genius,
Oh, his program.
He just absorbed the saber, the Morphex saber.
Yeah, but that means that's interesting.
He's got the data now to do it.
Right, but that means that the swords are in some way not just transportable but holographic, not just that they could be absorbed.
Well, they're.
I can't believe what I've done.
I mean, that happens with most ranger weapons. That they are.
Now Nate needs therapy.
Can be.
I'm sure Kay can recommend someone good because she seems like she's actually worked through a lot of her issues.
I'm kind of amazed that they decided to actually follow up on that Cell Shift Morpher teaser.
Safe thing for me to do is
And,
You realize what this means, though.
It's not true, but it is.
well, let's see.
Everybody thought I was such a boy genius.
No, it's not something from this. It's not like I'm predicting something. You know what this
Okay.
means? Non-predicting.
But the truth is, I
What-
released Vengeance into our world.
What does this mean, huh?
Another parallel between Grid Defense and
Everything
this?
bad that's
Yeah.
happened to
it
us
is a
my
direct
fault.
sequel to RPM.
Yes.
These problems before.
Which,
It can be fixed.
I mean, there's so. Oh, man, it's still I'm still getting buffering
Not
issues.
true. We've never faced something like this.
We haven't had buffering issues since like Q Ranger.
Works was just fragments of the Vengeance virus combined with snake DNA.
It could just be the site that we're using as
Now he has absorbed
experiencing
all
a lot of
of
traffic
Vengeance's
today.
program.
I kind of love also the fact that, like, I didn't actually explore things in detail, the nature of, you know, the big bad of Grid Defense.
To be something we can do.
But it was also going to be a case where it was
How I feel right now.
a new evolution of Vengeance, not the original Vengeance himself. Which is, again, hilarious.
Just leave me alone.
But the use of the vault as being as explaining the origins, I really do like.
Yeah.
Because it
makes-
gives it a nice purpose.
It does.
No, he's paralyzing. If we can make
He's busy despairing right now.
Maybe I should talk to him.
And that won't help.
Yeah, he needs
You know
a bit of
what
time.
would
He needs
help?
to talk to someone who truly understands what he's going through.
Yeah.
There we go.
Someone like you.
Oh, come on.
That's the one thing
I'm
spoiled about with
I'm
regards to
so
this episode.
frustrated with the buffering again. Okay, I'm gonna pause it again.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it back again by about to the 11-minute mark.
I
As best
suspect
can.
you have the same spoiler I do on that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. No idea what you're talking about. Not even the slightest idea what you're talking about. Not even an inkling what you could be referring to.
I
Like,
can't wear my K shirt. My belly won't fit in it.
so yes, we've paused again. We're having some issues with buffering today, which is so bizarre because we haven't had issues
Oh,
with
this is a
buffering
good point.
in a very long
Chiplin's
time.
last go as showrunner.
Exactly.
So if they hadn't used it now, they probably wouldn't have used it.
Yeah, exactly. So you know we're at the 10-minute and 57-second mark. That's where we paused it.
And if he could disintegrate
Um,
Gem and Gemma, he could do it to his sword.
Absolutely. And also, like, considering that ranger weapons can frequently be summoned,
Yeah.
it's perfectly reasonable they could be disintegrated in sort of the same way. They are often, you know, sort of data constructs from the morphing grid is how
Yeah,
a
the
lot
thing
of
of it
ranger
is that
tech seems
source
to
code
operate.
actually is a thing.
Yes.
And both RPM and this show now, if they're using source code in that manner,
Yes.
are misusing the term.
I mean, that's fair.
They're like, that's why they call it source code, because you can't. But that's not what source code is.
I mean, in this particular case, it's referring to his origin story. It's
Yeah.
used, so I would say source code is not.
Which is like, I got.
I wouldn't say it's so much an inappropriate use of it. I think it's more of a metaphorical use. It's a reasonable.
It's just not
use
what
of
that
metaphor, I think.
means.
I know it's not what it means. I forget the exactly what it means. You know better than I do.
If you look at the code under any given application, that's the source code.
Okay.
So if we were to look here on our YouTube stream and go
Yeah.
view source, it would show us the code that's running this website right now.
Right.
It's not the original code, it's the current code
Yeah.
that happens to be the source of the output we're seeing.
Right.
It's nothing so fancy.
Now, I know that Person of Interest handled things in a similar way, where they had sort of with the machine. So spoilers on
The
Person of
core
Interest, which
heuristics.
core heuristics. There it is. So basically, what this is establishing is that the core heuristics of Vengeance
And the
were
core heuristics of Evox
are the
same.
and that those core heuristics were saved inside that cell shift morpher.
Correct.
Um,
And that makes sense because he's an advanced AI, and there's probably no way you could fit the whole of him into there. But with the core heuristics, the likelihood that you're going to evolve the same AI or something very similar
right.
are pretty high.
Now, one thing I am very intrigued by is what Venjix, Evox, what Evox have been up to during these preceding 10 years.
Probably subtly
or
influencing Nate
I don't know
to
if it
get
was-
him to access the
Did he?
morphing
I don't know
grid.
if he said 10 years exactly, but
Well, what he said was that he became active when they accessed the morphing grid.
Right.
So in all likelihood, he was hanging out in Nate's computer system, subtly influencing him to get him to access the morphing grid.
I suppose.
Because that's what he needed Nate to do, was access the morphing grid.
Right.
Oh, but he couldn't just come right out and say it,
Yeah.
right? But he could totally, manipulate search results.
He was definitely a lot more patient during those years than he had.
Curse you, Venjix.
So I'll see if this reconnects. Looking here, it says excellent connection. And we are back. There we go. Oh, you probably don't want stuff coming out of there. All right. Yeah, you'll probably want to turn off.
Yeah,
the...
I got it.
Okay, you got it. All right. So yes, we've been dealing with. Of course, we've been dealing with technical issues while
dealing
checking
with
out the
Venjix.
return of Venjix. Of course, we are. That shouldn't be surprising anyone.
Nope.
At
no
any
surprise.
point. So I will be using my other laptop over here.
To
Keep an
handle
eye on the chat moving forward.
Yes, and I've got my phone.
So
Keep
we
an
are
eye on
at
the chat moving
10:57 here on source code. We're going to try resuming. Hopefully we won't run into too many more buffering issues. I imagine that we probably will. But 10:57, ready, and
go.
Go. There you go.
Gave us plenty of time to buffer while we were rebooting.
There it goes. Now it's going. That took a little while. Okay, now 11 minutes. Okay, there we go.
Right,
We're
so
coming
who would
back
know
up.
exactly how he's feeling?
Well, it ain't working
I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Why would I know? Are you saying I would know? Why are you saying that I would know?
He needs to talk to someone who
This is great.
Again, of course, I was spoiled by someone's acting credits.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I do.
I was spoiled pretty well in
Can you
advance.
help me make a transdimensional call?
There we go.
Sure can.
Nice. Very nice.
It's interesting that they're calling her not with help on how to defeat him, but on basically help with how to cope with being Whoopi Destroyer
let's see.
Worlds.
Let's see what what help she's able to provide. Oh, transportal device. Nice. Hello.
Must be Nate. I'm Dr. K.
Nice. Got a nice little new outfit and everything.
I remember you from Ranger History class.
Yes.
Oh, you buffer.
Volume
Wait.
5, chapter 176. Take the photograph today.
Nice. Nice.
So, then you know that I was the one who invented Vengeance to begin with.
This is amazing.
Yes.
This is amazing.
We had that in common. We both set him loose on unsuspecting worlds.
This is.
True. Except that he nearly wiped out my world.
Yeah, she's got it worse. And as Power Reviews has established,
Vengeance's onslaught
it did not
This
continue.
is what I was
not
quoting
go
when
back.
I was trying to tell people before about the time lag between when she actually released him and the show.
Right.
The
Yeah.
Ranger operators put everything on the line.
Oh, well, she's got a slightly different narration
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah, well, it's the flashback of the finale.
They only barely managed to defeat him.
I'm hating the buffer so much.
And I don't think pausing is going to help because it hasn't helped thus far.
Yep.
If we work together, we might be able to save yours.
Yes. Work together. Yes. Teamwork. Do that.
After
Teamwork
work
makes the
is
dream work, people.
No.
After what you've done, how about after what she's done, dude? Like, she knows.
So much
Can't
buffering.
risk making another mistake like that.
She's wearing trousers.
You want to feel sorry for yourself. Okay. You want to feel guilty and unsure of your ability. I completely get it. I was in the same shoes years ago when I learned I created Vengeance.
This is great.
Go right ahead.
It's great to see her back.
I'll wait right here until you realize that no matter how you feel, The world needs you. I just hope it lasts that long.
He's not just Vengeance anymore. I accidentally
What
No.
she's seen after what
combined
she's
the
seen.
Yeah, after what she's seen.
Morphex and snake DNA.
The hologram thing. From
Oh.
We reviewed that episode. It was inside your head.
I'm a hologram, not a recording. That is so
With incredible
21st
power.
century.
How do you even start to tackle a problem like that?
The same way you tackle any problem.
At the beginning.
Start by taking the first step.
That might not just be trousers. Is she wearing jeans?
I don't know.
That's casual for Kay.
Yeah. It's been 10 years since RPM.
We have the source code right here. We could look for Vengeance's vulnerable points, weaknesses.
I mean, she has created an antivirus before.
Tell me about this Morphers.
She's wearing sneakers.
Those are sneakers. Without socks.
Or very short socks.
It could be those little socks that go inside your shoe.
We're definitely gonna have
Master Evox.
definitely keeping an eye on all this.
I've retrieved these access
It's so weird to hear the Vengeance voice coming out of him.
Force computers.
Amazing.
Upload them into its hub. And activate the
It had to be this episode, the buffer's like.
I know, it's so annoying.
global network. Using the
Giant buildings. His weakness is giant buildings.
Yes. Fortunately, they have plenty of giant buildings, so they should be good.
Should this be affecting power reviews besides the outfit?
So far, no.
No, because power reviews would take place considerably before this.
Yeah, Power Reviews takes place in the intervening time period. Within the world of Power Reviews, it's still functionally 2016.
So that gives her plenty of time to change her wardrobe before
Yeah.
2020. You know, like maybe immediately upon getting home, if she ever gets home, which she must get home, I guess.
Yeah.
This arrow has a Morphex
But I mean,
technology.
in our
It will
in our
increase
universe,
the
everybody's
upgraded bow.
currently stuck in the same outfit anyway,
Yeah.
because they're all aboard the ship and nobody's. Even Mayo's clothes stopped changing. If you hadn't noticed.
Good. The analysis of the Vengeance data and your safety.
Still no idea where the
has been
crystal.
very enlightening.
What did you feel when you learned about Vengeance? Well, you just watched me learn about Vengeance, dudes.
Antivirus.
Now, did you know that Evox would be Vengeance?
No.
That's the spoiler that I've been
The only spoiler
trying
I
to-
had was that we were getting Kay back for this episode.
Okay. So you knew it was this episode?
The virus might not download.
Yeah, because her credits had the
A lot of
episode
things can
title.
go wrong.
Okay.
Relax. It'll work.
It is great to have her back, though.
It's the-
It's fantastic. I wish
Like,
that we
I
could
don't
watch it
follow so much
smoothly.
Power Rangers news, but I
This is
do
fantastic.
keep tabs on Olivia.
Not Evox.
But go ahead.
I I saw while just browsing through YouTube a thumbnail saying that Evox was Vengeance, and I was not happy to see
Rude.
that.
Okay.
But it had like a question mark on it, so I didn't know if it was actually regarding the episode or if it was a theory.
Oh no.
So I was so
Oh
annoyed.
no.
Can't even laugh.
Yeah, Nate is always having us out.
Maybe we can help program the error.
No. She does not want Ben and Betty.
Thanks, but I've got it.
Yes.
Or we could look at both Morphex.
She also actually has like a lab coat that fits her properly.
Yeah.
It's not just a giant
not
lab
just
coat.
An overgrown lab coat. Similar haircut, but like it wasn't done on herself with left-handed scissors, and I think she's about to start handling them like they're Gem and Gemma.
Yeah.
There is a special fuel you could mix up for me.
She
Whoa, okay.
like she's
4 grams of sucrose crystals.
she definitely seems
Heat it up.
Oh
have-
no! Wait a minute.
100 degrees Celsius. 100 degrees. Then
sucrose
Sucrose-
crystals, 100 degrees Celsius. They're gonna make marshmallow.
Yeah, they are.
She's
this.
Oh, it's tea.
organic substance found only on my planet.
she's having them make tea. That's great.
Rolling down.
That's great.
I thought she was gonna have them make candy, but yeah, she's having them make tea.
She's grown up. She has grown up over the last 10 years.
Right, Master.
like she definitely has worked on cultivating more of an she's paying more attention to her look. She seems to be wearing more makeup and jewelry, etc.
Not today.
I mean, it's actually hard to say with the makeup thing because although in universe I imagine she wasn't wearing very much during
Right.
RPM.
Obviously,
she
she
had
wasn't.
an uncanny amount of dark eyeshadow on.
Yeah, obviously,
Which is actually not happening here. There's not so much the dark eyeshadow.
that's true.
Which they might have been trying to evoke like sleeplessness,
Yeah,
but it was kind of a purpley bluish.
she's
Gray.
definitely got very much sort of the polished professional kind of look, while still being more casual as well in her dress. It's
Yeah, that's why I was like, are those jeans? Well, first of all, her clothes all fit her. They're not parochial schoolgirl clothes.
Yeah.
She's not in a like the sweater fit, but
Yeah.
the lab coat never did. The lab coat was always oversized.
Exactly.
Which is why it was so easy for me to find the right lab coat because all I did was buy the adult men's lab coat
Right. Exactly.
and then wear it on me.
Exactly.
And that's all you have to do to get the Dr. K oversized lab coat look when you're actually Dr. K sized. Buy the adult men's size lab coat, which is interesting, by the way, because they clearly had smaller lab coats because they put one on her when she was an itsy bitsy little 5-year-old.
Yes.
So, what was the deal there?
I don't really
Eventually,
know.
they stopped giving her lab coats that were the right size. I don't know what the deal was with that.
Oh man, this is all like. I also apologize if anyone's reacting to the episode in real time, and if we're lagging behind you due to the lag on our
Yeah, they just did
copy of the episode.
their beast
They're
morph-
just now getting into
beast mode.
Beast X mode. Nice. Now we're mixing in footage from, I believe, the actual finale of Go Busters, if I'm correct.
Oh, they're waiting for someone to mention spandex.
Yeah.
But this time they are leather.
Yeah, exactly.
So last century.
Oh, this is so frustrating. It's so deeply frustrating.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a miniature pyramidus, but that is a cute way to refer to
What the
that was a tea sachet. It's not a tea bag, it's a tea sachet. They're
Oh, okay.
triangular shaped,
Okay. Yeah, they're like tea bags.
they're very much like tea bags,
Yeah.
but fancier.
It's a good fight with robot blades.
Instead of being made out of like paper, they're made out of fabric. She's got good taste in tea too.
Nice.
She just happens to be carrying around a sachet in her pocket.
Yeah.
Someone needs to pay attention.
If there was only child size and adult size and she was in between,
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
And now she gets it custom tailored.
Of course. Or, just goes to the, wherever lab coats come in many sizes.
Maybe I should have downloaded the episode. Maybe I should have. But normally it's not this kind of issue.
We'll do that for next week.
Yeah.
We can do that for next week.
Yeah, for the finale. The thing is that we're using my little netbook, which has like no hard drive space for playing the episode on TV.
Yeah, but if we're just...
It's the only computer that we can actually run to the TV while doing this.
It will take a key drive. You can always download it to a key drive and then
That's
play it
fair.
from there. But we need software to play it, and you can't install it on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have a video player or anything.
No, it doesn't.
Nice.
Oh, what is it with Nate and arrows?
We've established this. It's a thing.
It is a thing.
I don't know why it's a thing, but it's a thing.
Would lowering the quality help with the buffering? Probably
Ultra
not.
bow. There we go.
Hope this works.
Because we're not actually watching it at that high of a quality to begin with.
I mean, I can check to see if I can alter that setting.
Yeah, the highest,
It's already autoing on the lowest.
Exactly. It's already down at 3.
It's already at the
340?
360.
360p. So no,
Yeah.
didn't think this could go much lower.
Oof. Is that it for Blaze? That can't be it for Blaze.
I mean, it is the penultimate episode.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just. Well, let's wait and see. We've got still about another 3.5 minutes left in this episode.
Booyah!
But I was certain that we were going to get more out of RoboBlaze. Just because, you know, his counterpart was the sort of the final villain of the series.
I have no idea what he just said.
It's nice to know that things get dark and stormy. I can count on it.
Yeah.
It's good to be counted on.
Oh, that's nice. That's cute. I like that.
They're adorable.
They are very adorable. All right, we got like. Come on, we just want 3 more minutes of this.
Are
Steel.
you sure we can convince you to stay?
We could use someone like you on our team.
Yeah, you should probably stay actually,
Cause Venjix.
cause Venjix.
Sorry, but I've got to get back to Kai and start checking our systems for any traces of the Vengeance fighters.
Oh, okay, that's
If
fair.
Noah's here, who knows where else he might be.
Thank you for coming, Dr. Kane.
So
I really thought that
the one thing that this does kind of do, unfortunately,
Oh, he's talking over Nate.
I'm
you
sorry.
understood.
We're guaranteed to face challenges in life. But you don't need to face them alone.
No.
Not when you've got such good support around you. Ah, hello.
Hey, Dr. K,
Nice.
we got your special fuel.
Well, let's see. Hot water.
Yep.
Sucrose.
Yep.
And organic plant extract.
Yep.
Yup.
She's just gonna drink
This is
it.
so drawn out right now because of the pepper.
I love a good cup of tea.
There we go.
Tea?
Yep.
You said it was special fuel.
Yes, for her.
From
Well, a good cup of tea really keeps me going.
There we
You
go.
know how hard we worked on this?
Yes, and you performed admirably. You two are welcome in my
lab anytime.
Oh my god.
lab anytime. Okay,
I mean, yeah. You take that. It's Dr. K. Like that's high praise right there.
She's about to unpocket her transportal device and go. Whoosh.
Yeah, there we go. They.
We have a beautiful world.
Aw,
Take good care of it.
Safe.
there we go. We'll definitely need to be watching this episode again.
Well,
Definitely.
thanks.
We saw way more K in this one than we did in the other.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of psyched about it.
I'm also wondering if this is it or not.
Commander, here's an alert.
Like this.
I'm not telling.
Good.
The tower network has been activated.
What?
All over the planet.
Ooh boy.
Shut down the system.
Can't! It's Venjix!
Yep.
The network has been disconnected from our system.
Well, that time with Ziggy paid off, yeah.
I like to think that she's gotten much better with friendships over the course of Power Reviews.
Fools were so busy with Blaze, you missed Scrozzum,
You missed Scrozzle.
slipping right into a tower.
Oh dear.
Now the global Morphers network is under my control.
Oh dear. That's not good. You don't want to see that.
Not good.
Ooh.
Mighty
Ooh. Oh, these are looking cool.
powers you built.
I don't remember this
Oh.
from,
Oh.
I definitely do not remember that from, did they do that in?
This shot looks new. This does not look Go Busters.
Yeah, that's not Go Busters.
That's a great looking shot though. So what is happening now?
To be continued.
Another nice cliffhanger. Digging it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they wrap this all up. It is a shame that we did get... Okay, so this is what we've been talking about for months when I've been saying that I knew that this was sort of the reason that I decided to go ahead and watch Beast Morphers
Because you got sold
earlier.
on Vengex?
Because I'd been seeing that going around, that Evox might be Vengex, and because I knew this episode had aired, I didn't know if that was somebody predicting what was coming up in an episode, or if somebody had just seen it in an episode. And so I felt like I
didn't want to risk waiting to find out for sure.
exactly. So this was one of the big reasons that I decided we really did need to go back and finish up Beast Morphers and not wait for it to air entirely on in the U.S.
You know, spoilers or no spoilers, I'm glad we're doing this anyway because
yeah, we've got
it's taken more and more out of me every time.
Yeah.
And this is not going to get easier.
Exactly. We're coming. We are now less than 10 weeks out on our end.
Yes, we
So,
are.
We time is not a tremendous luxury that we have at the moment. But no, very good episode. Even though we were frustrated.
I have to lean back because I can't actually sit upright for that long.
Right. Even though we were definitely frustrated by the issues that we were dealing with.
Buffering.
I don't know why there was so much buffering on this episode.
We were streaming it in 360p, guys.
Yeah.
That's even lower than the lowest setting on YouTube, which is 480.
Yeah, I don't know why we were having the buffering issues we were having tonight. It's new, or at the very least, it's been a very long time. But yeah, we've been expecting it for. I've been personally expecting it for a good long while since we started doing these second half of Beast Morphers episodes.
Oh, the next on pop-up segment of the previous episode.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that
They
I
have
wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah.
I was deliberately trying to talk over that portion because of the little like Pokemon ad and whatnot. Yeah, I can see that. It's like, yeah, it does feel very late
It's
to have the
very late
Vengex
there.
reveal, but at the same time, where else would you do
why
it?
they do it though,
Yeah.
mostly because I think, to be perfectly honest, once you reveal that and having previously
Yeah.
established contact with Dr. K, I think the story, the fact that we got Olivia and Vengex in the same episode
Yep.
was important, and that you would have needed a lot more Olivia.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think,
if we had revealed it earlier.
yeah, I do think that this worked out
And it's
pretty
you know,
well.
she's not a main cast member, so
Just the fact that it was due to the cell shift morpher in the vault was a very clever choice that I did not actually see coming.
yeah,
I would have
either.
liked a little bit more of, sort of what Vengex had been up to in the intervening time. Or what Evox had, a little bit more of the lead in.
After the show, before Beast Morphers showed Evox at the Cell Shift Morpher. Oh, what, you were like actually watching that channel and you saw the...
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The one that played for Beast Morphers after the show, before Beast Morphers showed Evox with the show. Right. Okay. But yeah, usually we've been fine with
We'll check our
buffering.
DMs.
I will admit I was running a little behind today, so I didn't buffer it for as long as I normally do.
But still.
But it was still longer than So I guess I know now, if I do want to do it this way, I definitely need to buffer it for that long.
Yup.
Like I did like a 7-minute buffer instead of an 8-minute buffer, and apparently that made a difference.
I'm not even sure that it did, because we buffered a couple of other times during the episode.
It only works with the very first round of buffering.
Oh.
Is what I had experienced during Q Ranger.
Interesting.
And apparently that's still the case.
Gotcha.
So, but you can't buffer it all the way, or else it's like
it plays into the next episode.
no, or else
and you lose it.
if it gets to the end, the buffer is moot. I've found
Ah.
buffering is a weird thing. You getting kicks?
Yes.
No. I mean,
The next episode leaked the day this aired.
Yeah. The next episode, will likely have actual credits. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this whole thing wraps up. But fortunately, it doesn't seem to mess around with the continuity of Power Reviews too much. So far, we'll see how the finale goes.
I mean, knocking on wood.
But it does seem to be.
Excuse me.
It does seem to invalidate grid defense, though, which is unfortunate. And that's specifically because of the timeline. Because
Will they be simultaneous?
well, here's one of the things. I gave grid defense a specific year of 2019. And so, while grid defense would make sense following Beast Morphers to a certain extent, because, it would make sense for her to create her own Ranger team that's designed sort of in the same way to also deal with the Vengeance threat. My version of Dr. K was still wearing her standard
Lab coat
and
parochial
parochial
school uniform.
Yeah. So there's that little bit.
Hi, Jeremy.
Have a great night, Jeremy. So yeah, it was just a little small bit that does make it not very compatible. Grid defense, unfortunately, doesn't feel like
I don't
it
think I
meshes
could even
well.
mimic this K.
Yeah, it's
Well, because part
she's
of it
grown
is
away from the way you've
we
been
no
playing.
longer have the same body type. Like,
It's-
for example,
It's true. It is true.
she apparently my chubby cheeks are just my chubby cheeks, but hers were youth.
Yes.
Because she don't have them chubby cheeks no more.
No, her face has gotten a bit more angular over time, just a little bit.
But she was young at the time, and that's the thing, is that I have already been an adult this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been cosplaying young K. So I was never going to mature like she did.
But it is really funny how grid defense feels like an unofficial pilot for Beast Morphers. In so many regards. There's so many different elements that have carried through, including elements that I had included in my plans for if there was ever if I was ever to do a full series. Things like, the tech support guy becoming the Gold Ranger, and or the tech support guy creating the Silver Ranger and becoming the Gold Ranger was teased at the end of Grid Defense.
With the whole
with B-tron instead of Steel.
B-tron.
That was clearly a nod to that. Yeah, exactly. The whole thing with the
actually
mayor.
being Evox,
Yep.
Venjax. Oh, jeez, now I'm going to start
Yeah.
mixing them up.
Although, ironically, the way that I was going to be managing things was definitely going to go in a different direction, but
Plot twist: Jake is secretly Becca Barnes.
that would be hilarious. I feel like that would be me, like, living my best life in certain regards. Like, if you were with me and all that,
I was
obviously.
still your wife.
Yes, that part obviously very important. But like, she seems to just be having a great time with like her cat and cheese rolls and
Cheese rolls.
apparently it's a
Is
New
it a
Zealand
Kiwi thing?
it's a Kiwi treat thing.
Kiwis like their cheese rolls.
Which is a whole. I don't actually know what a cheese roll is because it's not a thing we have here.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like
I think
like our fried cheese. Maybe.
I think it's more like a cheese Danish kind of thing.
Oh.
But I'm not sure.
They're excited for Dino Fury because if Beast Morphers is a sequel to RPM, Dino Fury could be a sequel to a past Dino season.
That could be cool.
That could be cool.
Will be interesting to see how Simon Bennett handles things as showrunner. I imagine that Becca will probably still be lead writer, and probably having a bit more control in that regard. So that could be very interesting. Oh, we're sorry that you missed us, Athena. Welcome back. We've got
We
so many
had
people
so many
today.
buffering errors.
Yeah, it took us like the whole hour to watch the episode. Unfortunately. But we got in a lot of good discussion
Grid
there.
origin story.
Mm,
That would be very
that
interesting.
could be very interesting.
We have never gotten an origin story for the Morphing Grid.
That is true. But yeah, there's. I really want to see the finale to see how it impacts our take on continuity, because I'll put it this way: there's definitely plenty of pieces that make sense, with regards to Power Reviews being in continuity still with Beast Morphers. Like, just because, largely because of the time skips, etc. You know, there's...
Well, you can rewind and see the look on my face later.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is that, you know, things for... I guess I am doing a little bit of spoilerage for Power Reviews, but...
Jake, no spoilers on the stream. It's against the rules.
That's true. I guess simply by saying that this doesn't directly conflict with continuity for Power Reviews does give you some spoilers for Power Reviews, but part of that is there are certain things that I think everyone has sort of assumed were going to happen by the end. Obviously, there are other things still to be revealed, as we spend probably these next 2 years wrapping up the series. But I at this point, I think I can fairly say that I've implied eventually Kay needs to make it back.
Yes.
Grid Defense I've implied is in continuity with Power Reviews. I've not said that I've not said before now that this screws up Power Reviews. So obviously there's the idea that Kay can eventually make it back.
Dr. K's task for Ben and Betty was such a tease.
That's cute. Now whether she makes it back
Yeah,
at
we
the
are
end of
gonna
the
be waiting a
series
whole
or
week.
not, I'm not saying. But and as far as what happens for anybody else, I'm not saying. There's definitely a lot with Beast Morphers that will probably feel amusingly ironic in retrospect over the years, as you guys see more of the work that we have planned for this channel. Like there's one thing I'm gonna have to
Jake.
joke about it with you later.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Stop spoiling them.
Yeah, I've been really good doing this thing for 8 years now. I don't spoil my own series. I'm generally pretty good on that.
You did. You told them Kay makes it home.
It was implied. By virtue of the fact that I've already released Grid Defense, and there was a reference to Power Reviews in Grid Defense.
Fair enough.
And I also said, I haven't said if she makes it home within the series or not.
It's true.
But there are other amusing parallels.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it helps keeping Kay in character that they got the actual actress back.
Yes.
And same with Vengex being the actual voice actor back.
And that's genuinely impressive that they've had Vengeex's
'Cause,
voice
yeah,
actor
the
the whole
Dino
time.
Tina-
That's really great.
Was terrible voiceovers, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
People were saying how well they did by comparison.
Do I have any plans for after Power Reviews, like any new projects?
We're having a baby.
There's definitely that, although that will happen before Power Reviews ends. So when it comes to when Power Reviews eventually ends, and I am looking at it ending, hopefully, by October of 2022. That is my goal. I do have other projects that I would love to work on. Nothing so massive in scope and scale as Power Reviews. Though that is not something that I have in mind. So I'm not looking at trying to do another 100 episode series. That is not in mind. Things that I do have in mind are possibly another fan film. Again, possibly.
possibly special.
Yeah, something just like what I did with Grid Defense, but maybe for a different unadapted Sentai. We've seen plenty that we don't know if we'll ever get adaptations for. So maybe I'll create another fan film that'll act as the pilot for another Power Rangers season.
No, the specials I meant, like, you had mentioned that we might do, like, a one-off, like, special...
Oh, like a
Power Review.
Yes, like a Power Reviews, like, movie episode or something like that. Or something for Power Morphicon or something like that. I could see that. So yeah, Ranger Vision already is saying right there that I have to do pilots of all the other Skip Sentai series so that Hasbro can immediately be inspired to adapt them. That seems to be my lot there.
Michael and Camille did the voiceover.
With Riley and Shelby in the Dino Charge team.
Even though they weren't there unmorphed, those were their
I
voices.
thought those sounded like their voices. People were saying they were sound-alikes, but apparently they were their actual voices, which is great. I was going to be really impressed because no other voice matching had been anywhere near that close on any other characters.
Terrible.
So I was going to be very impressed if they managed to somehow match those voices.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Tokyuger, Q Ranger, Zhuoger, Loopat. Like I've got plenty of ideas on all those. I don't know if I'd be going quite that dark on a Loopat. Well, correction. I have stuff in mind for what a Loopat season would look like. It wouldn't be quite that explicit of a parallel, but it would play into, let's say, tropes of young adult dystopian fiction. Is what I would have in mind for a Loopat adaptation. Premise for Tokyuger. I honestly, I've said this to other people as well. I think so. If I were to do something with Tokyuger, so I'll give you like little TV show implications of some of the things. So if I were to be inspired by like other TV shows for the unadapted Sentai series, I would be inspired by Sliders for Tokyuger. I suppose maybe Digimon for Zhuoger, and Farscape for Q Ranger. Those would be my series of inspiration if I were to adapt those.
A Loopat adaptation
those
as an
series.
SPD sequel.
I can't think of exactly what would be a good parallel for what I plan to do on Loopat, but like I said, something sort of in line with young adult dystopian fiction. So I have thought about what each of those would be. The only one that I really have had trouble thinking of in any level of detail has actually been trying to think of what Ryu Soldier would look like, outside of it just being like Knights of Xandar is pretty much my one point of
we're gonna find out because Hasbro
Ryu Soldier
is
would
doing
be.
that one.
Man, I would love so much to be able to work on Power Rangers. I really would. I really want that to happen someday, and I'm going to keep fighting for it in whichever ways I can, but obviously right now there are other things to fight for. There are other battles to be won first. So maybe some years down the line, maybe that we might be able to make that happen someday. I'm gonna keep pushing for it. But yeah, with regards to this episode, I was basically aware this was going to be when we got the reveal of Evox's Vengeance, and that we were almost certainly going to be getting Dr. K back this episode as well.
I thought it was interesting that she had that whole business with, like, where she was talking about, like, I've been where you are, and it's true that she's been where he was in terms of I did this and I screwed it up.
Yeah.
But I feel like, as portrayed in the original RPM, she kind of didn't ever have what he was having there.
The shock of the discovery.
Well, no, less of the shock of the discovery and more of the I need to not touch this anymore or I'll break it worse.
That's true. She never actually. That was never her.
She had a serious case of I broke it, I'm gonna fix it.
Yeah. So it's not. It wasn't truly indicative of how her character handled
Yeah, because
things.
she was like, oh, no, I get it. You think that you can't fix it because you're the one who broke it.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here and wait for you to realize otherwise, you know? And it's like, do you know? Do you really? Because from what I could see, it was, I gotta fix it.
Understanding the emotions of others has never exactly been Dr. K's strong point.
Right, but in this case, it seemed like she actually did, even though that wasn't her experience. Which is the part that I was pointing out.
Okay, fair enough.
Because she was kind of acting like that was her experience, but it wasn't.
Yeah. It was really interesting having her be in actually, for really, when you get right down to it, the first time functioning in a mentorship role.
Yeah.
Because although she referred to herself as their
your mentor.
How can you be our mentor?
As your mentor.
She was always the tech expert, but never really someone who provided actual mentorship.
That was Truman's job.
Yeah, and even then, he was really more of a commander. There wasn't really anyone who functioned in that mentorship kind of mentor role. There were obviously the tech support and the person who kind of sends them on their mission, those sorts of roles of the traditional mentor.
If anybody seemed to have an actual, like, mentorship role, it might have been Summer.
Arguably. But if you had
She was always, like, solving people's emotional problems and stuff like that.
Like, in many ways you could say, like, if there was any character who I'd say acted as a mentor to another character, there's probably, like, Marcus for Scott, in certain regards. In that very much wanting to be like his big brother, and, you know, he was the one who kind of brought him up through the ranks in those respects.
Dead.
Yeah. You know, or maybe even Benny for Ziggy, but even then it was kind of like just these little like background characters who helped influence who they became. Phillips for Summer, for example. But Dr. K herself never really acted in that mentorship role of really providing
she was not
mentorship
a good
style advice
person for them at all.
Occasionally some you know, emotional support as a peer, but never really as a mentor. Up until this episode, and it was really nice to sort of see that emotional evolution. So that is fascinating.
Was, as Ziggy pointed out, younger than us!
Yeah, exactly. So I am curious to see how we follow up on this in the next episode. It was definitely a good twist, and I thought that it was handled fairly well. Like I said, I knew what was coming this episode.
Hi.
Because, you know, I'd been seeing people nod at it, and I've been hoping that maybe they were doing conjecture or joking, because I didn't want to be spoiled.
No, that was like the people who drove past Harry Potter midnight releases yelling,
like
killed blank.
Yeah,
out
exactly.
Of the car windows. Which I refuse to even say now, just in case somebody doesn't already know.
You know what? She doesn't deserve that protection anymore. But anyway.
She doesn't, but...
True.
Readers do.
Alright, so,
You don't not spoil things for their creators. You not spoil them for the viewers or the readers.
But I wanted to see for myself how they handled it. And whether it was something that was handled in a way that was just fans freaking out because it was a twist that they had been wanting, or if it was a twist that was genuinely handled well. Because I know that people will enjoy things for superficial reasons sometimes. And I wasn't sure if this was one of those cases or not. And it does feel like it was actually handled quite well. There was, you know, recognition of the continuity. You know, recognition of popular fan theory. You know, that music chord that, you know, Chip Lynn actually, you know, was the showrunner for at the end of RPM, wasn't just a tease, but ended up being a genuine bit of foreshadowing. That there was those core, there were those core heuristics in the cell shift morpher.
The chat is busy debating whether or not
how Lupat should have been handled.
No, how Lupin X and Pataranger X could be separate people
Ah,
or not.
I mean, I suppose, but I don't feel like it needs to be like it would be needed. Like I feel like the switch was a nice mechanic for him to be able to do. But yeah, like I was saying, they handled it in a way where they had already introduced Dr. K as a character. They had introduced the Ranger Vault as something important.
Mm-hmm.
They had even made mention specifically of the cell shift morphers. They played it almost like a game that, oh, have you guessed yet? For kids who maybe had seen RPM on Netflix. So, and then we got those little recaps of who he was.
Vengex from the thing, like he was going to grab him as an ally or something.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that he was.
He was restoring his power.
Vengex.
But there were also little things like, now he has the power of Vengeance and he didn't before. I mean, I can't imagine what he could have gotten out of that cell shift morpher that he hadn't already gotten in the last 10 years. But I could see that he used it to restore himself, because that was where he initially came from, and that would make sense. So I want to see how this plays into the finale. I was pleased with how they handle things. I was pleased with the use of Dr. K as in an emotional sense rather than in a pure plot sense. I thought that was very nice. That was unexpected.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw it coming when they were once we saw where the episode was going.
Well, especially the thing that was interesting to me really was the part where Zoe's like, he needs someone who felt what he's felt.
Exactly.
As opposed to, oh, it's Vengex. We need the person who knows about Vengex.
Yes, and I thought that was a nice emotional through line for the episode, and I'm glad this episode had that emotional through line, because when you have these, and it
weird that Vengex has met Sledge.
Yeah, that is a little weird. But yeah, when you think about it, you look at the Dino Thunder team up, Grid Connection.
Okay.
And that felt like we were very bogged down in the mechanics of certain things, and not really connecting to these past characters in a meaningful way. Like, it was great to see them again, but there was nothing about Jason that felt inherently Jason-ish. There was nothing about really the Dino Charge Rangers that were inherently, like really focused on who their characters were and how they integrated into the plot from a character standpoint. Mm-hmm. From a plot standpoint, we saw where it was all going, but not so much from a character standpoint. Goldar, in particular, was interchangeable with basically any other monster with how he was handled. Outside of it just being, hey, this is the guy we're bringing back.
It didn't even look like Goldar. I mean, it looked like Goldar, but it didn't look like Goldar.
It was an evolution of Goldar. And they gave us a reason for why he looked different. But he also sounded different. There was nothing really about the character that felt
and Evok never
Goldar-ish.
Vengex when he's going over all of the past monsters, because of course...
Well, that's fair.
He is...
Well, there was also no Vengex piece in there to be... in that weapons chest to be talked about. Okay, saying Chimera Zord was worse than Serpentera. Alright, that's fair. That is fair.
But it wasn't bigger than Serpentera, though.
It was not. There were a number of things where it just didn't feel like it quite meshed quite as well as things went with this episode. And part of that is just that Dr. K is such an excellently crafted character within the Power Rangers universe. We know that character very well. And even though she clearly has changed over time...
It's still her.
It's still her. That edge is there.
Progression.
Yes. And a different progression from what we have gone, in many regards.
Ours, in many ways, doesn't have much of a progression.
Yes. Well, one of the things that we've done with RK is we have really broken her down emotionally in many regards, to an extent that even the show itself didn't do.
Whereas it's clear that this K has had a relatively happy last 10 years
Yes.
since RPM.
RK is a K that has been
We keep
pushed past the
torturing her.
point of desperation.
We keep torturing our K, so she hasn't had the chance to emotionally evolve in this way.
Yeah, not in this
This K has had some therapy.
Yeah. Maybe therapy to help recover from what we've done to her. We've put all of our characters through such a ringer on Power Reviews, and it's not over yet. There's still obviously going to be more things that haven't, like, even just.
And I'm not joking, like, because I just want to make this clear. Like, I'm not being facetious about this when I say this K has had some therapy.
Right, I believe that.
Yeah, and I'm all for that kind of thing. I will tell you right now, I go to therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy is cool.
It is helpful, especially in these stressful times.
And therapy definitely helped Kay.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
Like,
her.
you know, I did a whole video about autism awareness and acceptance with a friend who's a social worker, and yeah, like, I wouldn't really know where I stand on things if I had not also.
Is she a clinical social worker?
I forget I don't want to
Get it wrong?
get it wrong.
Okay.
I think she might be, but I'm not 100%
One of my
sure.
old therapists was a clinical social worker. As opposed to the social workers that, like, manage the cases of people who are in the social system.
But I
therapist is not a social worker.
Yeah,
It's a licensed therapist. It's a different kind of.
But,
There
you know,
are so many different kinds. Find one that works for you. If
it's-
one kind doesn't work, try another kind.
Exactly, and for me, you know, it's been helpful, you know, sort of navigating, and understanding. Yeah, I'm likely on the autism spectrum. Likely deal with some anxiety, possibly even a little bit of the attention deficit. You know, things like that.
ADHD. I got that. I've known that since they diagnosed me when I was 8 years old. I figured that one out.
I've started, you know, sort of saying I've got AAA psyche. I've got my brain is rated AAA for autism, anxiety, and some attention deficit. You know, things that are still things that I continue just trying get my head around, and I think I like to think of myself as, you know, despite all that, fairly well adjusted as far as my presentation.
Ranger Vision's got a fan theory. Rather than therapy, this K is another Mayo-esque clone in a disguise, recruited to buy time while database and K is dealing with the problems in the hiatus. This is a different universe's.
That would be pretty funny.
But this one actually did probably invent Vengeance at some point, which Mayo totally never did.
Like, you know, I'm having her really deal with a lot of her past in serious ways.
Although it's funny that you pointed out that she was wearing sneakers, because technically speaking,
I know that she already did to an extent.
Yeah, she already did. They were dark blue ones, but I found basically the exact shoes. They're Oxford sneakers.
But yeah, our Dr. K is dealing with, you know, she actually tried to correct her past mistake, and that would inform sort of her character in this regard. You can't just go back. It doesn't work well when you do. You need to move forward.
Don't mess around with time travel.
Now, that being said, this K does seem a bit more cavalier about opening up portals between universes. So I guess things have changed since Power Reviews. There are definitely little bits that. There are elements in this, in Beast Morphers, that I will probably use to refine certain character arcs in the final episodes of Power Reviews. Like, they're mostly written and partly filmed, but there are little, like, character beats I could likely tweak, especially for, like, the final episode, where I can just give, like, little nods to
what will come later.
What's coming down the line. I've already actually when I've written most of the finale. I haven't written the final scenes of the finale.
I mean, there are parts of
Um,
episodes all the way through the end that we had to film before we moved out of the apartment.
that we haven't lived in for over 4 years.
Yeah. That we had to film over 4 years ago because we realized we were losing that set.
Yeah, so we filmed elements of the finale over 4 years ago now. And you won't see them for about another 2 years.
Because we don't live in that apartment complex anymore. It's just like
Yeah.
the Morpotsners having both an apartment and a house is totally because
They
don't
moved
live
out
in
of that apartment.
complex. Even though that apartment was, in fact, in the same complex that we were in. It was
Exactly.
a mirror image of our apartment.
Exactly.
So the fact that they lived across the hall was feasible. They did not, in fact, live across the hall. They were
Yes.
in a whole other building. But it was the same apartment mirrored. So we could easily say
Exactly.
it was across the hall. Well, not the same apartment.
And then
It had a den.
and then there was
We
even
didn't have a den.
the joke with Guy's apartment, because he also had moved out of that apartment complex, where I'm like, how do you have a skylight in here? Because we were on like the lowest floor.
Yes, we were in the basement. We lived in the basement when we lived there.
So there's just been so many things that
That's
we've
why the
had to change
windows
over
are as
time.
high as they are. There are a couple of counter shots in the episode where you're with the landlord, where you can actually see the windows, and you can see how they're like up here.
Yeah. Well, there have been a number of episodes where you can see those windows.
That's because it was a garden level apartment.
Yeah.
The ground is at that window level.
And yeah, there's still obviously more to come. So much more to go. And I'm looking forward to eventually
What do
wrapping
you think
up.
of
Hornitor and Scorpitron. I thought that they were really cool. I love the shiny, overly shiny CG, especially 10-year-old me loved the shiny CG. It was just fun, even though it wasn't actually a well executed example of the technology at the time. But we are coming up on an hour and a half already, so we should probably be wrapping up. We'll obviously we'll be looking at another long run next week. Just a reminder, we do still have that link in the description if you do want to donate again to wegotthevote.org. Or not spreadthevote.org. Spreadthevote.org.
Wegotthevote.org was months ago.
That was weeks ago.
They have closed voter registration in Florida. We're
Yep.
not doing that one anymore.
Yep.
We're doing spreadthevote.org. We're going to leave that link up basically till the election.
Yeah, we're all very happy to forward your any further donations onto spreadthevote.org.
If
to make sure
anyone
people get to the
does happen
polls.
to donate between episodes, we'll make sure to we can manually trigger the Starman at the beginning of the episode that follows when you do that.
I see El Nero Diablo remembering episode 19 of Power Reviews. Nice. Yeah, since the multiverse has been established, MMPR the movie is totally a canon.
Yeah.
It's
May
separate.
the power protect you too, Mr. Ullman.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we're wrapping up. Next week, expect another long haul. If you can donate to spreadthevote.org, please do. If you can do phone banking or other forms of volunteering, or volunteer
I was going to say,
as a poll worker,
worker.
please do. And above all,
keep
make
in
sure
mind,
that you
only
vote.
have to be 16 to be a poll worker.
You only need to be 16 to be a poll worker. You can be young and be a poll worker. You can be
have
young
to
and do
18
phone
to
banking.
vote, but you don't have to be 18 to be a poll worker or to, like Jake said, to phone bank. And if you follow Jake on Twitter, he tweets all the time about where to phone bank.
Yep. So if you're interested in volunteering, please reach out to me. You can mention it in the comments. You can mention it. Follow me on Twitter if you reach out on Twitter. I'm happy to get you links.
Hook you up with where you can phone bank.
Either for your home state or just for whichever swing state you might be interested in, or whichever thing that I'm working on that day. We live in upstate New York, so I'm always phoning for other states to help out.
Here.
And you can do that. They are in need of people. Like
New York always goes blue, so there's no point in us phone banking.
I was helping
locally.
a small campaign office in Georgia the other day.
Yeah, because it doesn't
and
just have to be for president.
Look,
that's the thing.
When I signed on, the one person I was volunteering with was the actual candidate, I believe. So for that region,
Because
so they're always in.
small-
Everyone needs
local
needs
elections
help.
also matter.
Like, you know,
Because the local people will set policies, and like for example, one policy that would be very helpful
Yep.
in general that we would really like to see is what they now have in Maine:
ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting. Redistricting is handled by state legislatures. If you want to actually circumvent the Electoral College and get a national popular vote, there is an interstate compact that relies upon states agreeing to it. If you ever want to see constitutional amendments that you're really interested in seeing, that depends on a certain number of states ratifying them. So state legislatures actually
Very important.
cumulatively have a tremendous amount of
Your
power.
state legislature matters.
Yep.
Not just the national legislature.
Thank you, Spencer. Watch out for fake ballot drop-off sites.
Yes.
Make sure that if you are dropping off your ballot, you are calling your local board of elections and making sure you know where to go.
Boxes are for the postal service.
Just because you see a box that's
make it a legit box.
labeled, you know, if you see it labeled ballet box, that's a good sign that it's not legit.
There was on Twitter the other day, someone showed one where they had put this like wraparound on it. It was like official secure ballot box, and it was all spelt correctly except for the box itself was a cardboard box.
Exactly.
With a liftable lid.
Exactly.
That's not secure.
So you gotta watch out for those things.
It was like a banker's box or something.
Yep.
Not legit.
So there's a lot of things to watch out for right now. There's a lot of things to be aware of. Make sure that you yourself get your vote in, either early voting or voting by mail. You know, if you can before the election, before election day, because the election is functionally happening right now. Tons of people have voted.
People are already
I've
voting.
called so many people who are just like, "Oh yeah, I've already voted," and that's great. So
people have dropped off their ballots. Some places have early voting where you can go.
Yep, more than half the states have already kicked off their early voting.
And ours comes soon, right?
In about another week. Right now.
Go vote.
Exactly, I believe 1 week. Early voting starts here.
Vote.
Exactly, next Saturday. Hopefully we can get our vote in next Saturday. Yeah, there's just crazy stuff going on right now. So volunteer where you can, when you can, however you can. You know, as I keep saying.
What does Wiimote stand for? Wireless interdimensional interface.
Mobile off-site transmission equipment.
There you go.
I have had so much fun with those. And it's such a running gag for something that's not actually from RPM.
Yeah.
Even though it could, and it's especially funny because when you get right down to it, RPM is an acronym that never gets explained. So
Ranger
clearly Dr. K
Prototype.
doesn't. Ranger Prototype Models was how we always interpreted it. But it is funny that clearly she doesn't actually have an issue with acronyms. We just decided to make it one because she keeps coming up with acronyms that are silly words. And it's great.
Squee!
And then, of course, it all foreshadowed the actual proper reveal of the Wii later on.
Right, because for a while it was just...
I called it the Wii, and until I actually said the full name of Wireless Interdimensional Interface, it didn't register.
Well, because at first, as far as anyone knew, it was just a Nintendo Wii.
Exactly. Which was so fun.
Which is still the only console we own.
There's so many things that, like, that was probably one of the longest setup to payoffs. Like, this obviously had a nice big setup to payoff in this Beast Morphers episode. But I don't know if you can quite beat the setup in episode 2, the payoff in episode 49.
And you got a guest voice for that, didn't you?
Yeah, that was Jay from Morphin Legacy. He's the voice of the Wii. I have someone else coming up. I've got something coming up a little later, where I might be trying to get another guest voice for. We'll see. I've got some things in mind.
Ooh.
So, there's one or two people I want to reach out to, see what I can do, see how time goes by. But we've already gone
Yeah.
far too long already.
Way too long.
Thank you again. Obviously, it doesn't feel that long compared to last weekend. But obviously, you need to be getting to bed,
I do. I need to be horizontal.
and we should deliver our closing
Our closing
statements.
3 statements. Yes.
Which are, of course, say it with me, chat. Love is
Love
love.
is love.
Number 2, say it
Trans-
with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. And number 3, say it with me, chat. Robots are cool, unless they inhabit Venjix.
Inhabit Venjix? You mean let's
Our host bodies for Venjix. That.
Or Mac.
That too. I wonder if we'll get Roboblaze rebuilt somehow next time or something.
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
Scrabble machine is gone.
So we'll see how things wrap up next week.
How things wrap
Make
up
sure to
next week.
tune in, donate, volunteer, save the world in your own little way. We're going to keep working together on that. But until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you. And we're wrapping it up. Save the world, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, everything beyond.